So it's warm out, and I'm heading down to Katie's, which is a cafe, as you may know, that I like, down in Imperial Beach. So I'm heading out of the house from Coronado. Excuse me, down the Silver Strand, which will take us into Imperial Beach. Additionally, I'm going to go over there and buy Miriam, the woman who is basically my second mom, who I rent a house from here in Coronado. I essentially live with her in the sense that on her little mini estate, I suppose you could refer to it. Here in Coronado, I rent a one-bedroom guest house, and she's in the main house. And she's lived here for like 45 years. Wonderful, wonderful woman. I could not ask for a better landlady, or a better second mom for that matter. And I'm honored that occasionally she's referred to me as best tenant ever. That has actually been in front of and not in front of my mom. When my mom comes out, she stays in the big house, and her and Miriam will go for walks and go to the library and go for lunch and things. So anyway, that's where I'm leaving, and I'm heading down to Imperial Beach. And the reason I threw the camera on and wanted to discuss something is to follow up on how I sort of was painting the picture, I hope, of what the company I started about 7 years ago, which was a life coaching company. I kind of throw that in air quotes because that's how it started out as. I didn't really know how it would morph, but I'll get to how it is today, 7 years later, in a couple other videos. But one of the things that I worked on when I first started it was a project on a book project. And I worked on that project with, I believe, it was approximately 20 of us authors. I can't remember how many there were exactly. But three of us, me, Carla, and Novelina, were all in grad school together, which is how we initially met. And then that project sort of came out of a project that we decided, hey, let's work on this when we were in grad school. And then after grad school, it took us about another year to put everything together, and get the cover art and do the editing, get an editor, and decide what to call the book and a whole bunch of other stuff. And various other people had tasks, and I was, honored that I was able to participate and just provide my story, really. And so that came out in 2012, and believe it or not, I am a #1 best-selling author. What that means is that I'm not wealthy and I'm not well-known. I'm not rich, I'm not famous. What it means is that on one day, our book hit #1, actually in 2 categories on Amazon.com. And so what that's referred to when you have a publisher and you are getting ready to launch your book, that's referred to as an Amazon Blitz. And so like any other marketing, project or sort of marketing, push, marketing plan, whatever, various mediums, right? So years ago, before there was the web, then you would just basically, if you're lucky, it'd get published in the New York Times, and then if enough people bought your book and they kept track of that, then they would label you as a #1 selling, New York Times #1 best-selling author. Blah, why can't I talk right now? And I am nowhere near that. But I will say that the process of getting a book together and working with, I think 19 other people or something, was very educational. It was frustrating at times, of course, because the speed with which things were happening was not adequate as far as I was concerned. And then other times it was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Let's totally celebrate our successes. We've just finished a huge milestone. This is great. Which was really awesome. But as part of that, we also were able to reach out to Jack Canfield. If you know who Jack Canfield is, or if you don't know who Jack Canfield is, you may know the book that he was kind of famous for, that he partnered with Mark Victor Hansen on, which is Chicken Soup for the Soul. And that book is fairly well known here, I would submit, in the United States. It sold millions. And he started a a brand, if you will, of chicken soup for the underscore. Insert noun here. So there's Chicken Soup for the Soul, which was their first one. And then I believe, I don't know the order of these, but I believe there are ones like Chicken Soup for Motherhood, Chicken Soup for Marriage, Chicken Soup for Teenagers, Chicken Soup for Business. I don't know. But the point is that there are those, there's that brand that they've developed. And so with his recommendation, we developed a publishing company called Defining Moments Publishing. And our first book, which is the one I'm referring to, is Defining Moments of Courage. So each of us in the book, each author, wrote a story. I believe it was under 1,500 words was the sort of boundary for us as authors. Less than 1,500 words defining a moment of courage. A defining moment of courage in your life. So you know what I may do? I actually may do another video where I just simply read my story. And if you find it interesting, then you're welcome to buy the book, or you're welcome to just send me an email and I'll send you the book. You know, I'm not going to overnight it to you if you live in France. But I'll absolutely get it to you. And I've done that for some other folks. In fact, I think I posted on Facebook or something. I'm like, hey, I got a bunch of books back from Fulfillment by Amazon. It was sitting there in their warehouse, in the Fulfillment by Amazon warehouse, and they basically were like, hey, look, you got these extra ones, you've sold a bunch, you've got these extra ones here, because these ones have been here more than a year. And so I said, forget it, just send them back to me. Lucked out, because it was one of those windows, if you don't know anything about Fulfillment by Amazon, right, you ship stuff to their warehouse, and then they handle the remaining mile, if you will, the last mile to the customer. Mile in quotes, it could be 10,000 miles. But anyway, so I got those back, and it was in a time where Amazon's like, hey, you know what? If you've got your stuff in our warehouse and you want to get it back, we'll send it to you. It's going to take a long time to get back to you, but we'll send it back to you for free. I'm like, great. So I took advantage of that, and then I sent this book to a bunch of other people. And anyway, so our Amazon Blitz occurred on July 7th of 2012.